Your Weather Authority forecast first. Brought to you by Todd Shore's McClarty Ford.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you have had a great Sunday. Wow, the rain. Unbelievable. Right now, you're looking at your Texarkana New Holland Skycam. Looking down at Summerhill Road at Kennedy Lane. And yes, there is rain coming down in Texarkana, but how about that radar? Look at this. Rain just about everywhere right now. Seeing a little bit of thunder, a little bit of freezing precipitation as we go up into North Texas. Current temperatures across the region right now range from 49 in DeQueen to 55 in Texarkana, 63 in Shreveport, 63 also in Natchitoches, but 64 in Carthage, Center, and Mansfield. And that is your Todd Shore's McClarty Ford forecast first. NBC News at 5 starts right now.
Now, from Louisiana's community station, local news that matters. This is NBC6 News at 5.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Yalisha Gatewood. In tonight's top story, most residents in Keachai, Louisiana are safely back in their homes tonight after 16 train cars derailed, causing a hazard in the area. The Louisiana State Police hazmat team declared a mandatory evacuation of homes within a 1.5-mile radius of the railroad crossing after 10,000 gallons of acid spilled across the roadway. DeSoto Parish Sheriff Jason Richardson says majority of the acid has been recovered.
That had affected the ground has been, for the most part, neutralized at this point, and they'll do remediation.
He says the train cars have been secured and all state highways through Keachai are now open. In an update, the 5 former Memphis police officers charged in the beating death of Tyree Nichols are arraigned. According to court records, Desmond Mills Jr., Emmett Martin, Demetrius Haley, Justin Smith, and Tadarius Bean will be arraigned together on February 17th. They have been charged with a list of crimes and have since been released. The former officers were members of the Memphis Police Department's Scorpion Unit, which has now been permanently deactivated. Meanwhile, a Texas man was arrested yesterday for attempting to kidnap a 15-year-old girl in Bexar County. Around 12:30 p.m. Friday, the 15-year-old girl and 2 young men noticed that they were being followed by a Dodge Ram pickup truck. 35-year-old Alex McCormick got out of his pickup truck and pointed a gun at the 15-year-old and demanded she get out of the car. McCormick was taken into custody Saturday and charged with aggravated assault and aggravated kidnapping. Meanwhile, federal leaders are taking a closer look at Southwest Airlines after its holiday mess, and travelers continue to wait for refunds. Hannah Brandt is in Washington with more.
I was stranded in Denver for 3 days over the holidays.
John Erickson is one of the thousands of travelers who was left stuck during the Southwest Airlines meltdown. He says the airline told him it plans to refund the $3,000 the delays cost him, but it may take a while.
Saying it's going to take months for us to get back what we owe you. That actually is a big problem. And frankly, I'm glad to see that the Department of Transportation is investigating.
Erickson also filed a complaint with the Department of Transportation, and Secretary Pete Buttigieg wants passengers like him to know the department has their back.
We will follow up on every single one of those thousands of complaints to make sure people get taken care of.
This week, the Department of Transportation launched an investigation into whether Southwest made unrealistic flight schedules, which could be a violation of federal law.
We're going to be looking at everything from how flights are scheduled to how passengers are taken care of, so that we can make sure that those airlines do right by passengers.
And if needed, he says his department will use tools like penalties and fines to hold Southwest accountable.
The point, of course, is to make sure airlines do the right thing to begin with, but we can't simply lean back and trust that that's going to happen on its own. That's why we're here.
And travelers like Erickson will be watching closely to make sure they follow through.
We need to actually have those promises met by the federal government, because how are we supposed to have faith that we're going to be able to get from one place to another safely and soundly?
In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
In your national headlines, today marks the 20th anniversary of the explosion that killed 6 people and injured nearly 40 others at a North Carolina pharmaceutical manufacturing facility. Courtney Bunting talked to survivors and first responders, and they look back on that day that will last with them forever.
Explosion at West Company. Around World Extension, a very big explosion. You need I didn't hear nothing, you know, and everything turned white, and that was it.
January 29th, 2003 is not an easy day for Jim Edwards to remember. It's the day he lost his eyesight, the day 6 co-workers were killed and nearly 40 hurt in a massive explosion at West Pharmaceutical. Edwards remembers waving for rescuers to help him. We've caught up with him over the years to check on his progress.
I was burnt 63% of my body. I hurt every day for about 6 months.
Investigators believe combustible dust built up over the years caused the blast. At 1:30 in the afternoon, Kenston Fire Captain William Bars was one of the first to respond.
From the east side, you could see this big, huge black plume. And we were just driving towards that black plume, not knowing what was going on.
Driving into chaos after an explosion that could be heard as far as 25 miles away from the Rouse Road plant.
People were screaming, yelling. Some people, you could actually see their injuries.
Bars distinctly recalls guiding one of the injured plant workers to safety.
He had his hands up, and I can just remember the injuries that I saw. And he's pleading with me, "Please, sir, don't touch me. Please, sir, don't touch me. I'm burning." And I said, "I understand." I said, "But I got to get you onto this ladder safely."
It wouldn't be until the following day that first responders could leave.
We were actually there when shift change came, which was 8 o'clock in the morning.
Roger Dale was the Lenoir County Emergency Services Director at the time.
So if you're looking at the West Coast,
he uses a timetable of what happened that day as a learning tool. He remembers efforts to make sure the hundreds of employees on the schedule were accounted for after the computer system for clocking in and out shut down. He says the plant manager and supervisors had to recall every single name.
So you were going off of a handwritten list of names to find out
who was there and who was not, Well, it took us well into the night to try to figure out the list.
As the years pass by, Dale says he tries to focus on the good on display amidst the tragedy.
I remember how well our community came together. That's the stuff I choose to remember.
Edwards, too, who's been changed forever by that day, maintains a spirit of optimism.
The good Lord helped me out a lot of keeping me strong on everything and learning a different way of life when you're not able to see anymore. And just learning new techniques of walking and learning how to eat differently, and don't think, there's something wrong because you're blind. You're still a person.
That was Courtney Bunting reporting. Coming up, a young Indiana native receives a special gift after going through a heart transplant, which sparks a gift that keeps on giving. We'll be right back. Hey, can you hear me? So you're going. Hey, Ron. Yeah. So you're going to do graphics up. You're not going to be in front of the camera. We just. Is he going to be in front of the camera?
He's going to be right there.
So he can see. Ron can see.
He can see his computer, but he can't see himself in front of him.
Well, maybe he should just do graphics up, and just change the graphics and him not being in camera. That way he can do what he needs to do. Hey, Ron, is that okay? Do you want to do it like that?
I'm just looking at my graphics as I punch them and talk about it.
Okay.
I want to see if something happens when we get through with the commercials. I'm not even hearing commercials.
Me either. So you may have to do it just not in front of the camera. That way you can see everything while they do graphics up. Do you want to do it like that?
Yeah, but I want to see first if we come up.
Okay.
If we don't, I'll walk back into my computer, but I can see my computer out here.
Gotcha. Okay.
And now, your weather authority, Ron Young, certified the most accurate forecast in the Arklatex.
Welcome back, everybody. I do know we are trying to figure out the problem, why we're not getting a picture out on the air. But I'm going to go ahead and describe to you what I would be saying if you can look at it with me. And right now I'm looking at Marshall, Texas, where the rain is coming down by the buckets full right now. As far as looking at the rest of the region, bear in mind that the Weather Prediction Center today did have us and does have us in a slight risk of heavy rainfall. I think if they had a chance to update it already, all of us would be included in that. But there is some good rain coming down right now. In fact, the southeastern half of the area is covered up with rain. We have a little break as we go from around Marshall up into the Spring Hill, Arkansas and Magnolia area. Then some heavier rain as we go into southeast Oklahoma and southwest Arkansas. So with that said, humidity levels are still up, but they are going to go down because drier, cooler air is going to invade the Arklatex. Right now in Mansfield, there's only 2 miles visibility with rain, 2 miles in Manny, 7 in Shreveport and Center, 5 as you go into Natchitoches with only 7 in Mount Pleasant, 7 miles into Queen visibility, and Texarkana, you're limited to 4 miles visibility. All right, now the front is going to go through the area by midnight tonight. We'll still have a few little showers, not a big deal there. Sunday morning, we may have a couple of little showers. That's not a big deal. By Monday in the afternoon, we will be looking at a return of some showers across the area. And this marks the beginning, not of a cold front, but simply warm, moist air riding up over the very cold, dry air. This is a combination for very cold rain and very cold temperatures. We will see the possibility of a little freezing or frozen precipitation as we go overnight up in the DeQueen area and southeast Oklahoma. And then on your Tuesday, 7 a.m., still clouds and a few showers as we go into the afternoon on Tuesday. This is wanting to depict a possibility of some freezing or frozen precipitation along the I-30 corridor. All that will move out as we go through the day, if it does indeed develop. As we go on into the Wednesday 12 p.m. time, we are looking at a break in the rain, but the clouds no. And absolutely, as we go into Wednesday 7 p.m., rain is back all the way through Thursday at 7 o'clock in the morning. We have showers, but Thursday we're going to have a possibility of very heavy rain. Your Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday is going to be a slight risk of excessive rain. Thursday is going to be a marginal risk of excessive rain. In other words, we have to watch this forecast very closely for the possibility of some flooding as we go through the latter part of the week. As far as rainfall potentials, they're going to be up there, so be ready for that. Your 7-day forecast for today, 49 degrees, 60% chance of evening showers. Tomorrow, 90% chance with a low of 37. High, struggling to get to 40 degrees. 33 with the morning low, so there is a chance of some freezing or frozen precipitation, especially in the northern Arklatex. 43 the afternoon high on Wednesday with good chances of rain, 100% chance of rain on your Thursday, 30s for lows, managing to get in the mid to upper 40s. Friday, the rain is away, 53 for a high, but it's going to be a cold Saturday morning, 30 degrees on the average, 54 for the high. Then we warm up to 39 and 62 with sunshine on your Sunday. We'll be right back.